why would that stop? Yes, because it's not based on you, so you're not going to stop it. So why would it stop? You've entertained it. It's funny how people are so amazed when something works. They're like surprised that something works. Yeah. Yet they can watch. It's not them, but they can see that they have complete faith in failed shit, so to speak. I'll never forget the story in outside of Boston, a rural area. I was going to be speaking around there for the weekend, and we were driving over to a town near Walden Pond. I think it was called Lincoln, Mass.
Yeah.
It was about 11 o'clock. We're just driving along country roads, and then suddenly we come to like this intersection, and there's this whole hubbub going on. The police are there, and they have lights and everything. And we asked them what's going on, and they told us that a lady was following her GPS. It told her to turn right on the tracks, the railroad tracks. She went down there. She went about 15 yards, having complete faith in the GPS, even though she could hear the kung 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 kung. Because the thing says your destination is 200 feet on the right. So they had to get a special tow truck to pull her car off the tracks. Yeah, but then things start working out, and we're completely surprised. It just really you don't need much more. That implies so much, really. So I have so many people. They'll get in touch with me, and they're like really surprised that they've entertained this idea and it seems to be working. Why do you think I'm doing it? I don't know. I don't even know why I'm doing it, but it's a very difficult thing to describe the effects because I don't know. I don't know what, as an experience, I don't know what it's like for you, in a sense. Yeah. So all I can tell you is the relief has a whole lot to do with loss of interest. Yeah. Where I would think I'd have to be very interested in relief to get it, but the relief coincides with a loss of interest. And a lot of the loss of interest was how and when am I going to get relief? That's where the relief was. So I really saw, I lost interest in the need to be liberated because I saw that which needs to be liberated isn't me. And as soon as I saw it wasn't me, because there was marshaling a lot of battalion type movements on the spiritual journey premised on me. As soon as the me was shifted, the interest just got redistributed. Yeah. So then you know you're onto something because you entertain the possibility, and it reveals a certain, like every indication of its workability has a certain flavor, the same flavor. Yeah. It doesn't take any time to produce the effect because it's always been available. It doesn't have any thought or effort on our part necessary. It really doesn't have any requirements, and you realize that the idea of Paul is synonymous with requirements. It isn't like Paul has requirements. Paul and requirements are sort of the same nature. So if there's Paul there, he definitely believes there's going to be requirements for somehow entering the kingdom of heaven with the fear of always getting kicked out and everything else. So, and Paul isn't going to give up requirements or lose the requirements. There's a loss of interest in Paul, and then the requirements don't really hold water anymore. Yeah? So you don't have to beg for permission or work hard enough to convince yourself that you deserve something. All that gets dismissed. Yeah? Which is nice. Because that when the head's playing God, it can change the obstacle course, especially when you getting to the finish line. It adds a couple of more obstacles or a few more bars to get over. It just you don't have a certain set. Okay, I've got to do this and that. Then I'm gonna be fine. No, it always more shit's added onto it. Yeah, and it gets to the point where an expression of withholding, yeah, based on we haven't received permission. Yeah, it's so a crazy thing. And then so we seek out permission, like people go to talks just to feel that gets to make, to get a certain permission to be okay. Yeah. And if anything is based on becoming okay, there can also be the unbecoming okay. Yeah, it doesn't work. So this message is so novel, or this solution is so novel you don't even need it. That's how beautiful a solution it is. Yeah, because if it's applied, you'll see there was no need for a solution. There's only a need for a solution when the problem seems to be present. Yeah, the problem then needs a solution. But when this solution occurs or shows up, it's always there. But it becomes obvious. It tells you there was no problem. Really, there's never been a real problem. Of course, there's problems. Yeah, but there's never been a real problem concerning this. You've never not been what you are. That's to me that's a very relaxing. It doesn't provoke like getting ready to get into action. It's more of chilled out. You chilled out, and this basic drive, of hoping, returning to what you are or never leaving what you are, or hopefully one day when I get ready or I get purified enough, I will be able to receive what I am. All that gets just dismissed and you just are, whatever. Yeah. And now you're awake to being awake instead of asleep to being awake. It doesn't change the fact you don't become awake. Awakeness is there. Yeah. Let's say you become aware of awakeness. Yeah. If you're trying to become aware of awakeness as Paul, that's being dulled out to the awakeness. Yeah. That's being numbed to the awakeness. Yeah. The wanting the awakeness implies there's a fraudulent reference already in place that you're not awakened. Yeah. To want awakeness, obviously, there's an assumption you're not awake. Or if you're awake, you're not awake enough, or you need to be more awake. And how can you gauge the awakeness? Is it like an oil stick? I just check my oil in the car. Do I have an oil dip? And I check it out. All right. I need a little awakeness today. I'm running low. Oh, that's why it sounds this and like that. But whatever. So, are we ready to go, Mike?
Yeah, I just muted everybody individually, so we've been going.
All right. Did we already start?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. So let's have questions.
Anybody want to raise their hands?
We should pay some people to come up and just ask a question. So
Softball.
it primes the pump, like, what is selfing? Whatever.
I don't know how to raise my hand, but I would like to ask a question.
Yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Mark from San Diego. Good to see you again, Paul. I tell you, I was on your meeting day before yesterday, and your 12-step meeting, and this is what happens to me when I listen to you. I get what I get a hit. I get a hit of the truth, and the hit lasts a couple of hours. And I want to just read a couple sentences from your book that I read in the evening called Escape to Everywhere, which I really enjoy. And you say in there, the curse of spiritual seeking may take you on a journey to become conscious of consciousness. How's that going to work? And then this is the key of what I experience. Anytime self gets revealed not to be you, it will regroup. Even if there's a great epiphany, self takes credit for it. Blown into bits, self forms again. The head will arise and say, I had this great experience, neutering the whole point of the epiphany, a message of life unadorned by self. That's my experience 3, 4, 5 hours after I hear you. I get 2 hours of freedom and self regroups.
Hey, that ain't bad. Jeez.
You're right. That's why I'm back.
That's like a full-length movie. Some people only get a little bit of an infomercial. So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, if you pay attention a little bit, something will sort of get established where you won't be sort of like catching a fish and then, seeing how big it is. There'll be plentiful fish. Yeah. And you throw them all back, and then there's plentiful fish. So, yeah. It's a nice free sample, I'm telling you. You know how much people would pay for 2 hours of relief from the bondage of self? They'd pay a lot of money if you could, even in the hope that that will happen. Some people will sign up for something and spend $60,000. You get it for free. That's not bad. Yeah. That's why we have it. We have 4 talks a week. So 4 shots, 4 hits a week. Hopefully you can hold out until the next shot. It's pretty Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then there's the big gap, Saturday. That's not bad.
Damn gap.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, fucking Friday's a dangerous time. Saturday. Yeah, that's pretty good. I think it's awesome. I mean, yeah, do you think that's going to stop? You think it's going to go backwards? No. More gets revealed. What gets revealed? More of what you're not. That's what you see. You don't need revelation of what you are. You are that. You need revelation about what you're not, so there's a clear recognition, hey, I'm not that. Yeah? What you are isn't going anywhere. It's just there completely, and that's why it doesn't seem to be here. Yeah? It's there completely. It never left, so it doesn't arrive, so you don't notice it's here because it's never been gone. Yeah? You can't. This is how it seems to be disguised right out in the open by the program of the action figure. The action figure makes all of that like stealth. It doesn't recognize it. It's really like the fish in the water. And when the fish wakes up in the water, meaning it wasn't like the fish was on land and when it wakes up in the water, it gets the same hit in a way. It's always been this way. Yeah? It's like nothing ever happened. It's always been so. I think that's very that's a very soothing balm. Yeah, because isn't there a pressure that somehow I'm not going to get what I want or lose what I have or whatever? There's always this underlying angst as if you have to, if it's here now, I've got to do something to fortify that I'll be here later. You don't see, we did that the other day with that lady. She had a dualistic idea of non-duality, and so the non-duality was, it was a drag when the opposite showed up. But the fact is, because she was there, the seesaw pivots on you. Yeah? So she had an idea, oh, this is the experience of non-duality. There's no experience of non-duality. Non-duality is not an experience. Yeah? And there's no one to experience it. Yeah? It just is. So there was a formulating or mimicking the non-duality as something you could have, something you can experience, something that was there, and then it was immediately it gave rise to the opposite, which is, I want it to stabilize. I want to feel like this forever. Yes? But this wasn't the non-duality, and this was the duality. That was the whole thing. Yeah? It's all pivoting on us. It's like the seesaw. Here you are, and then you think you're here, and you want to get to this because this looks a lot higher. When this goes up there, it goes down. Yeah? All pivoted on the selfing, and then, down. Yeah? Every time you go up, you'll go, yes? This is, again, in my take, not my take, how I see it, this is not an experience. An experience, there needs to be the experiencer and what's experienced. That's duality. I'm sorry to tell you. Yeah, it's duality. So if you're still holding out and hoping you're going to be there to get it, and you're going to be there to experience your own absence, it's not available. Yeah, that's the beauty. When you give up all the mimicking of non-duality in duality, you'll get a sense of it. Yes. When you see through the mimicking of duality concerning non-duality, you'll see through it. Yeah? This is the pivot. Not you're here and then you're there and you're here, there. It's the axis. The axis is the selfing. The axis is the idea that it's you going to experience non-duality, and you never experiencing non-duality. Yeah? Neither of them are true. Yes? You can experience non-duality. It isn't like you are one of the only special people who can experience non-duality. It's not experiential. It's on a level of being. Yeah? Being. Always. No beginning, no end. No observer, no observed. No seer, no seen. No experiencer, no experience. That's the denial. That's the negation. The negation of all that. What's left after that's negated is what's always been here. Yeah? But you've lost sufficient interest in all that to stabilize. You lost areas of interest. And what happens is the interest was the obscuring activity. Yeah, it was what the interest in the stillness of the water was disturbing the water. Yeah. It captured beautifully in Faith Mind. The translation by this guy Richard Clark. I don't know if I haven't seen it in a long time, but you cannot produce, you cannot use activity to produce stillness. That would be activity. You see? Let's say the stillness is the non-duality. It's not, but let's say that. And the activity is the duality. So the duality wants to produce or have an experience of the stillness. All that is duality. Yes? You see it? The duality has an idea of the one. It believes it can be had, it believes it can be experienced, it believes it can stabilize. All of that is baloney. Yeah? You're looking at something, well, you can't even look at it. We're holding a dualistic idea about non-duality. That's the dilemma. It's not that you're missing it, it's just you're thinking you're having it. Yeah? This is the job. Agree with me or not, I'm just sharing how it comes through. I do not see this. I never have seen this. I have never experienced non-duality, ever. Non-duality influences my experiences greatly, but it is not in the realm of experience. Non-duality doesn't stabilize in duality. It doesn't. It lends an acceptance and a traveling lighter through duality. Yeah? But duality in itself is an agitated situation. Yes? Either or, yes, no, close, far. All of those things are movements. Movements, 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 movements. Yeah? What this allows, the idea of non-duality in duality allows us to travel lighter through the experience of duality, through the interpretation of duality, through the dreaming of duality. Yeah? Now, we would never have even gotten to the topic of non-duality if we could find relief from duality in duality. But people ran into the dilemma. I can't seem to get relief from duality in duality. Yeah? So that led them and they probably tried a whole lot. They probably tried a lot of different formulas and a lot of different equations, and they arrived at an incredible point. It's impossible. Then the idea of non-duality became obvious, and they saw, oh, it's in seeing this, that which can be seen and thought about and felt. By seeing that and recognizing it is not me, I am not of this, then in the negation of duality, then the real relief is available. Yeah? Not as a product, not as a condiment, not as an accessory in duality, but as a completely distinct context, a whole different space that we are of. Even in the dreaming, there's the ofness, and now that ofness comes into the dreaming, through us, comes into the dreaming and brings a lightness to it. Yes? It brings a lightness to it. But it's in now, its effects are in this dreaming, but it's not of the dreaming. It is not of two. It is not of non-duality and you experiencing it. It is not of that. Yeah? It is not of high and low, less and more, close and far. It has none of those qualities. None of those qualities capture the idea of non-duality. Not one. They capture the idea of duality. Yeah? An experiential world with an experience and an experientia is a dualistic interpretation. Yeah? If you want to have non-duality and duality, you're going to be entertaining an interpretation of non-duality from duality. Yeah? Good luck. I hope you stabilize it. But I'm sure going to see you and you're going to look like you're working really fucking hard, living under an anxiety that somehow you're going to blow it because it seems like you have a huge role in it when you don't have a role in it whatsoever. That's the relief. The relief is from the bondage of self. That's the relief. The relief is being relieved of all the needs and the drives to get relief, really. Basically, like today, I got relief. I took a piss, yeah? I was driving far. I could feel thing. I got immediate relief. As soon as I pissed, I got relief. I get relief quite a lot all day. But if I'm looking for the relief of the angst of existential, whatever, give it, it doesn't work there. Yeah? It would be great if you could piss those concepts out of you, but you can't seem to. I mean, shit. I would love to have a conceptual urinal where we could all fucking put the concepts in there and in a flusher. It would be great, but that's not the case. Yeah. Unfortunately, as we're walking around, we can be, maybe, are the obscuring agent. That's the dilemma. And if the obscuring agent really wants the unobscured non-duality, that's more obscuring, you see? The more interest the obscuring agent has not to be an obscuring agent is more obscuring. I don't know. That's how it goes. I'm not saying it's, oh, why is that? Is that fair? No, but in observation, that's how it goes. When I'm keenly interested in something, there's a whole lot of something made up. I think I went out for a second. Thank God. Even the message came through just there. It was so beautiful. Block every square out as if they never happened. Yeah. And now they're back again. Wow. Someone got in touch with me, a friend of mine, joking about the Zen thing. First there is the mountain. Yeah. So the way I was presented it young, it could have been different. I may have missed something. But it said, first there is the mountain. All right? So there's acknowledgement of a certain reality, which I don't agree with. So first there is the mountain, then there is no mountain. That's what people have. They believe they've had an experience of it, but the basis of that no mountain wasn't an experience. But the selfing comes up quickly, and then the only way it can grok it or understand it is I had an experience of being absent. I disappeared for 2 weeks. Yeah. But what's telling me it disappeared? That which is, this is the dilemma. Yeah. If you disappear, you won't know it. Because the thing that wants to know if it's appearing and disappearing will have disappeared. It's not gonna call back to central office and tell them. You're just gonna have the joy of being relieved of all that. And then maybe it comes back and then it tells a story. I had this experience of I disappeared for 2 weeks. That's not what was happening. Yeah? So first there is the mountain. Then there is no mountain. Wow, that's fantastic. You know. But then there's the mountain again. Sort of like a nagging, oh, what the fuck, you know? Now, how can I just get to, all right, there is a mountain. I hate that. There is no mountain. I really like that. Let's just stop it right there. But see, you are the projector of the mountain. Yeah. So now, first there is the mountain, then there is no mountain, which is a mountain anyway. Yeah. And then there is the mountain again. I'm saying, go this way. Let's say first there is no mountain. That's the fact. First there is no mountain. That's the fact. Then there is a mountain. All right, so then there is no mountain. Hey, 2 to 3 hours, that was pretty damn good, as the other guy said, yeah? Hey, for 2 or 3 hours, there was no mountain. Fuck, that's awesome, yeah? But all right, but then there's the wish. I wish it would be. Oh, there's the mountain again. You don't see, as soon as you start wishing, there's the mountain. You don't see that. You see the mountain just showed up. It was just walking around. But as soon as you wish, no mountain, there's a mountain. Why is that? It's called duality. You get it? Duality. Mountain, no mountain is duality. Yeah. See, so when the no mountain appears in duality, we think that's non-duality. That is not non-duality is the context of all the imagining. Yeah? Mountain, no mountain, stream, no stream, river, mountain, stream, sky, all that. Yeah? That's context, context, context. Always available at all times. No requirement necessary. Context. Duality is different. Yeah, duality is first there is the mountain, then there is no mountain. See? We're trying to go before, yeah? My Wi-Fi is going bad, sorry. We're trying to go before that there is no mountain. We're not talking about there is no mountain, then there's a mountain, no. The no mountain is the fact, right? That's the space. That's blah, blah, blah. So there it is. But what happens is then there's a mountain. And then that which believes there's a mountain wants it not to be a mountain. All right, then there is no mountain. Yeah, but then again, because it's sort of like flipping a pancake, and the pancake has a certain mechanical spring. So here's the pancake. First there is the mountain, then you flip it, there is no mountain, but then the spring, there's the mountain again. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, and then you put syrup on it. Da, 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 da. You know, you put syrup on it when there is no pancake, but then there's a pancake. Yeah. So, oh yeah. So there is no mountain. Then there's an appearance of a mountain. Then there's an appearance there is no mountain. And then there's an appearance of a mountain again. And it could have kept going. He could have had the mountain, no mountain, Slinky go on and on and on and on and on. He may have, you never know. Maybe they just decided to edit it, and as it went on century after century, they cut it down to 3. It could have been there is a mountain, a mountain, no mountain, mountain, no mountain, mountain, no mountain. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? So, all right, who is that? I don't know.
That was Mark.
That was Jack. I feel very jacked up right now. Yes.
No, that was Mark. That was Mark.
Oh, I still feel jacked up. That's all right.
Very good.
We're gonna get you a sound.
Doesn't matter the sauce, Mark, Jack.
Nice pitch, Mark. Thank you.
We're gonna get you a sound machine with the flushing sound. Okay.
Yeah?
We're gonna get you a sound machine with a
we
flushing sound.
should. We should have it, yes. Some of the words out we want to flush first, but, B-U-T. Stabilize, B-U-T. Will I feel like this on Tuesday? B-O-T. Yeah, just flush those. Yes? Yes?
Thanks, Mark.
When is this all going to be over? All right, we have Jack, I think, there with a hand up.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jack.
Hey, Jack.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. I've been watching some of the recorded things on YouTube, and I think this is my third live Zoom. The first one for the non-duality only, and it's been very useful and very entertaining, and yeah. So I was having a thought today, and it happened because I was out and I was shopping for some stuff for the campsite, and and I noticed every time someone looked at me, which I don't really usually think about much when someone just looks at you, but today I did for some reason, and the thought I had is that it's constant reinforcement that there is a self-existent, independent me out there that the seer is seeing. So the fact that they see me is the reinforcement of that independent self-existence. So I just thought about that a little bit today, and I think the reason I did think about it is because I've been listening to you a lot the past week, and like I said, I think some of the stuff has definitely landed, and it's been a really good feeling, and I really appreciate it. So I don't know, maybe you could talk on that. Yeah, that's it.
All right, so let's just take a step back and throw in the old self-inquiry. Who is it that was thinking other people were looking at them? Yeah, just as a, because then the whole everything else weighs on that or rests on that, and to me, I rather question that. Yeah, so of course, there's an assumption it's you, Jack, the long-lasting, independent, separate thing. But if you can use, you know, in the selfing is like a two-sided coin. So the selfing is so when you do this little trick with self-inquiry, there's one aspect of the selfing asking the other aspect, who am I? Yeah. So what you're not is asking what you're not, who am I? Basically, with the hopes that there'll be, it's not even needed a negation because they're not there to begin with, but there'll be a pause where there'll be everything nothing, so to speak. Yeah. And then at that point, you lost interest in the topic of the people thinking about you or this or that. And you just, it's almost like remember that thing you used to have, Etch-a-Sketch? An Etch-a-Sketch, it's just shook up and all the lines are just gone. And then it's just empty. Yeah? So if you can catch it before it sets its lines up, yeah, and then it leads you to a novel or an interesting idea, just ask, who is it? Throw it in there. Who is this person who observed that people were looking at me more today than usual? Yeah, just find that. I used to find that quite helpful. It doesn't mean it lasts forever, but it's helpful at certain moments, just to because the momentum of the engine of selfing is all made up. Yeah, it's all made up, and its booster it's like nitroglycerin. When you have races when they really go fast, the nitroglycerin is the identification as the one people were looking at. Yeah, so it's nice to ask it a question. I just wanted to throw that in there. So yeah, and Jack, keep coming back. Yeah. If something's working, just let it do its thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah, he's done.
All right. So
Oh, Sonny's
Kaiser's been,
good too.
Kaiser's been raising his hand up and down.
Amelia.
Kaiser's been raising his hand up and down, and it's up now.
Oh, Kaiser.
Yeah.
Yeah, if somebody else has got a question, then I kind of lower it because I don't want to. I like other
Oh,
people's
no,
questions
just
too.
jump in, Kaiser. Don't.
This is
Like
practical.
if you don't need to explain. You're going to do a cannonball in the pool, and you're going to do just do the cannonball. In
Enough. I'm asking it. So it was brought to my attention that I express anxiety by sometimes I talk fast or sometimes I try to control a situation. And when it was brought to my attention, I originally said, I don't have anxiety. But it was presented to me in a way that we all have anxiety, and then that's the way that might present. And after that was brought to my attention, I noticed that there's uncertainty. And then when the uncertainty is sensed, that produces an anxiety, and then I act on that, try to control a situation or try to talk or try to something. And it seemed to me that life is always uncertain. A marriage would be uncertain, companionship, friendship, a job could be uncertain. You don't realize it until it actually becomes uncertain. So that, could you talk about the anxiety, to try to control things? It seems like as soon as I do that, then I create, it's kind of like selfing. But if I lean towards the uncertainty, just like lean towards, and I start to see everything's uncertain, it seems like that could be a potential for a connection with a higher power, or a connection of like a non-dual, like it's nothing certain. And if I lean towards that, things are not the way that I think that they are. I don't know. That's uncertainty. Does that make sense? It's not a question, but
Yeah.
I'm leaning towards that. Okay.
If you're leaning towards that, we're all going to get together and push you that way. So all the other squares are going to push you, yeah, if you're leaning that way. Yeah. So, all right. So, see, in a weird way, if you really told the truth of observation, it would be anxiety has you. You don't have anxiety, right? Uncertainty has you. Yeah, but see, the language is always does the opposite. Yeah, we think we have uncertainty. Yeah, yeah. So this is funny. So what happens? You're in your yard and suddenly you see some uncertainty, and then you have the uncertainty, and then there's a wrestling or whatever. No, uncertainty has you. Yeah. So at a point all day, there's an experiencing going on. Yeah. It all tries to get explained by the mental state based on being the experiencer. But basically, you're feeling tons of different shit all day. Yeah. A lot of it, because you've lost interest in Paul, you don't even pay attention anymore. Yeah. But there's tons of stuff going on. Yeah. Because there's experiencing. There's not an experiencer. Yeah. That's a narration about the experiencing. So I truly believe that if you use the language correctly, it would be saying, anxiety had me. Yeah. In a sense. Yes. So the anxiety is claimed to imply you. Yes? Just see this. It's the way it goes. Okay. So today, anxiety, or what I call anxiety, let's say an unease, my breath got shorter, I started trying to manage, fucking see if I could get something I want, whatever. You can sense it. All right, so let's say this anxiety occurred. Yeah. The mental state claims the anxiety to imply the one who's anxious. Then the language says it exactly that way. You were uncomfortable today, or you were anxious today. Yes, you see it? But really, the you came after the anxiety. Yeah. The you comes after the anxiety, but when the you is placed before the anxiety, you feel like that you is a historical fact. Yeah. So you can go. What it can trigger is, I'm anxious quite a lot, and now the you, part of its identity is being anxious. Yes, it sort of gloms. It's a trip. So, but if you really saw what's happening on the experiential level, there's shit happening all day. Yes, some things we see them as what we call an experience, but there's experiences all day going on. The mental state arises after the experience, and then it presupposes itself to be before the experience. So now the whole place of verbing is interpreted from a noun point of view. And basically, it's not working for a lot of verbs because we feel, when we're really alive, we feel more like a verb than a noun feeling alive. Yeah? Yes? So now you get to see something. You see the manufacturing. It's sort of like taking it out of another context. There was a great book called The Manufacturing of Consent. That is exactly what the mental process is doing. It's manufacturing consent. So what you are in a certain way goes along with it. Yeah? In other words, the audience, that there is no one in the audience, it's just the audience of fucking awareness buys the story of being Paul. Yeah? Seemingly. Yes? So now it's consenting to the manufacturing of self, so to speak. Yeah? And when the manufacturing of self is noted, which it is, it has a little trick. When it arises, it says it's been here all these years. It's sort of like, here's whatever, the verbing, and then there's some fish, let's say a boat's chumming, yeah? Throws a bait with a hook. And then here's what's happening, arises, and then there's an experience of the bait on the hook. And then suddenly a noun is formed. Fuck, I'm a fish. And not only that, I've been a fish. I'm a historical fish. Yes? So now, it's unbelievable. Now, that little claiming of an event, a happening, yeah? This and this colliding, now has made this colliding into a historical fact. So now everything that happens, you follow it, and then you're presupposed to be before it. You don't see it? Basically, if you strip the noun away, which isn't even there, it's all derived out of claiming verbing. Yeah? So when experiencing is claimed, and then it's made into a story of experiencer and experienced. That's what it is. Do you think the experiencer and experience is the basis? It isn't. It's experiencing. That's the basis. Yeah? Just experiencing. Things coming in contact. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah? But the mental process, and we were like that when we were babies, before the self got developed. Yeah? Things were just fucking happening, and we were happening along with it. There was no noun, except for the parents. The baby was seen as a noun from the parents' point of view, but it wasn't seen from the baby's view. The baby had no idea what's going on. Yeah? So, yet experiencing was happening. Yes? Yes. Experiencing was happening without the idea of being an experiencer and the experience, definitely. Look at babies. That's what's so attractive to them. Yeah? There's experiencing without an experiencer. It's beautiful. So therefore, there is no necessity for an experiencer for experiencing. There isn't. It's been revealed. Basically, it's an add-on. And what happens is, the experiencing gets deadened the more it's used to imply the experiencer and the experienced. It is. It just deadens. The living of life gets deadened, and you get an interpretation of it. Yeah? It's sort of like what they're doing now with salmon and shit. They're farming salmon. Yeah? And you go, let's say you go to Costco, they got a big place, and if they probably don't like it to have wild caught and then farmed at the same time, because you see the fucking difference. The wild caught super pinkish red. The other one's like a dried out pink, you know? You know what I mean? Who would want to eat the fucking farmed salmon if you had if you saw the other one? Yeah? The wild caught, it's like fucking vibrant. It's salmoning, you know what I mean? Even though they cut the head off and they haven't cut the salmoning off. The other thing never had salmoning. It was dead to begin with. They manufactured it in a weird way. This is happening with our lives. What would cause someone to have to get high so much? They must feel like they're fucking dead. Really. What would happen that certain people never made love unless they were loaded? Really. For a long time, a lot of addicts never had a physical intimacy without intoxicants. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. We couldn't bear life without fucking add-ons because we felt fucking empty. Yeah? Well, that's the feeling of being a noun. A noun is fucking empty. So it tries to write tons of stories, takes tons of pictures to prove that it has a life. Because there's a vague sense it doesn't. Yeah? So this is, selfing is this. Selfing is an activity that implies the imaginary robbery that never is accomplished to have already occurred. Yeah? The selfing implies there's a self. It infers there's a self. It insinuates there's a self. Yeah? That's what it does. The selfing, it can't create a self. There isn't one. What it does is it covers that up by saying there sure was one, and there's sure gonna be one, so therefore there must be one now. Yeah? That's how it arrives at its I am. Its I am Paul is manufactured through time. You don't need to know this because something knows it. That's what I'm talking to. I'm not talking to Kaiser. Fuck, I'm not talking to Kaiser or anybody. I'm hopefully talking to what you are through Kaiser. Because I know what you are knows. I know it. I know it beyond knowing. There's no need to convince what you are. You just got to get something through it. Yeah? So it's more, Kaiser is more, it's a fucking obscuring fucking activity. You're trying to get the message through, not to. I could care less if Kaiser thinks that none understands it. Yeah? Yeah. And it's not personal, anyone. Yeah. Hey, I could be totally wrong, but don't mix me up with other shit. Yeah? I'm not trying to talk to what you are. I'm not trying to talk to what you're not about what you are. I'm not. I don't believe there's any need to waste any time convincing what you're not that it is something. I just want to see I'm not that. Yeah? And then there's going to be a loss of interest. And a lot more will be revealed. Not to Kaiser. Yeah. So there. Thank you.
Thanks, Kaiser. And Josh S. by chat wanted me to go ahead and ask you, what is the wisdom of no escape?
The wisdom of no escape is there's nothing to escape from. That's the wisdom of no escape. The wisdom of no escape is, do I need to escape from an imaginary problem?
No one else.
How long does it take for me to get out of an imaginary place? No time whatsoever. I was never in an imaginary place. So the wisdom of no escape is there's no need to escape from an imaginary place. That which wants to escape from the imaginary place is part and parcel of the imaginary place. Yes, that's it.
And Nick wants to comment kind of off of Jack G's.
And I'm not going to mention any other teachers, but maybe I get your take on it, Paul. Jack was talking about people looking at you and getting that, manufacturing a sense of self. A little cure for that I've found is if I have any sense, or if there's any sense of that arising, I just look for my head. And then when you see there's no head, then all the other foundations are kind of on believing you have a head. And when you go and, look for it, and you see that's kind of just the empty space that the dreaming arises in, it works for me. I don't know. What do you think, Paul?
Yeah, well, if it works for you, that's great. Yeah, that was from a guy named Douglas Harding. Yeah, he had a very good book called On Having No Head. Yeah. So you could say that would be like what we're saying on having no mountain. There is no mountain. So to him, the starting point was on having no head, and then there's the appearance of the head, and then there's the losing of the head, and then then it seems to appear again. But the whole thing is if you're based on having no head, you'll recognize the head as an appearance. Yes? Yeah. So, yeah, whatever works. And then what's great is when you don't need to, yeah, whatever. I like the idea of tools not needing to be used. Yeah.
Loss of interest.
Yeah, you just lose interest in yeah. But when it's good, it's helpful when there's that same I sometimes I feel like non-duality when it's entertained by duality becomes like a rigid pole, yeah. And now I remember I did a talk for some website in Australia when we first started, and I never heard about it. So I went after the talk, and they had other people that spoke, and they had commentaries. And if someone in the commentary said the word I or me, the next person disqualified them from the non-duality. So it was sort of like non-dual Pharisees. It was they had the letter of the law, but not the spirit of the law. Yeah. So I hate when I meet people who are really fucked and they're trying to say they're not fucked because there's no self to be fucked. It'd be much better if they just got some relief. Yeah. I mean, sometimes I have this, I'm on the phone for 15 minutes. You know, their girlfriend left. All right, great, you're bummed out. But no, she didn't leave anyone, and there's no one to have left, and went on, and all I was waiting for him to get through with that bullshit and just cry a little bit, and he felt a whole lot better. Yeah? So I mean, these are ideas. They're not meant as fucking shields and swords. Yeah. They're just ideas, and see where they land. And then when they land, they're going to cast roots. They are. And they're going to grow, and you'll observe it, and you'll see expressions coming through seemingly you, and you'll observe it. Yeah? And that's pretty much your role, you know, from then on, really. Something is now expressing through you. With very little to do with you, basically. Yeah. So you start playing a role of I'm the vehicle of expression, and I have the joy of observing it. Yeah. So I have the joy of observing like divine choreography when things have such a coincidental, just a beautiful magic to them. I have that joy. That's that. Yeah. So I think we spoke about it earlier with the lady, the two-sided coin of non-duality in the monetary system of duality. Yes. So if I'm just sharing, I just want to share for there to be an experience, not for there to be experiencing. Yeah, but for there to be an experience, there's two things that are needed: the experiencer and the experienced. Yes, that is dualistic of dualistic nature. Yes, what we're sharing about non-duality is not two, and that falls under the category of not two. So yes, there's experiencing, but there is no experiencer and there's no experienced. Yes? But there is experiencing. See, duality isn't a definition. It's they give you a definition and then it's fortified by your own observation. Yeah? You start seeing it. And you can start seeing why did Paul seemingly have a life of addiction and then it swung to such an extreme way to a life of recovery. That's duality, yeah? That's how things express here. That's how things appear here. They're two-sided, yeah? It's a two-sided coin. No matter how many times you cut the coin, there's still going to be two sides, yes? That's duality. Non-duality is just a negation of that. It's just negating the whole fundamental assumption of a reality of two-ness. It's just negating that. It's just saying not two. And what happens is, to get the real feeling in a way of non-duality is by getting a sense of two-ness, yeah? And then you see how this whole place is interpreted is, sometimes they call it a binary system, but it's of two-ness, yeah? And so you're now resting in, and that's all that non-duality is a negation of that. That's all. It's saying not so, not two, not so, not this or that, not close and far, not yes or no, not. Yeah? Is there yes and knowing and closing and faring and disconnecting and not and connecting? Yes. That's happening. But the idea, yes, yeah, of close and far as sort of objects, yeah, yes and no, day and night, that's not correct. All right, Patricia, Mike.
Yes. So, the idea that's coming to me as you're talking tonight is whether this diagnosis, Dr. Paul, if this diagnosis that you're describing could apply to not just individuals, but collectives, but groups. Because I'm thinking of how people create these groups that become treated as single units. So there's the singular family unit. People at a workplace will bond, and so that becomes like a unit, and they have a corporate culture, and people of certain classes bond, and they have like the upper class culture, the middle class culture. People of races see there's a sort of selfing process with the process of people seeing, oh, I belong with this race, I don't belong with that race. And I feel like, okay, I'll just say, I feel like the world is going fucking crazy these days. And that I don't have a solution, but I'm saying as a diagnosis, as you're talking, I'm like, it's almost like the world in these collectives is really in this heavy process of selfing, and really, well, maybe that's as far as I can get right now, but it just feels like as an individual, it's great to travel lighter, but the world is really deep in angst, the way I'm seeing it, these collective groups clashing and, seeing, you are the other, no, you are the other. And holy smokes, it feels heavy, feels really heavy. So I know from my individual experience, that's just sort of rolling by. And it's great. Thank you, Paul. Love you, Paul. I personally am traveling lighter, but the world is not traveling lighter from what I'm seeing on Facebook, what I'm seeing on the news, what I'm seeing, what people are telling me, like it's freaking heavy. So I just wondered if you had any thoughts about that, because it sure be nice if the world, in terms of these collectives could see, oh, no mountain, oh, now there's mountain, no mountain, oh, the mountain appears, but it'd be so much lighter for the globe, holy smokes.
All right, so let me. So obviously, a lot of what comes after is interpreted from separation. Yes. basically. So this would be like the Course in Miracles with their idea of guilt, and I'm maybe way off, but the idea that we separated from the Godhead or whatever, and that we're individual, long-lasting little independent asteroids lost in this giant event, yes? That's not true, first of all. Yeah. So, but let's say that which is dreaming entertains separation. What else can it come up with? Well, you're probably seeing it now. Yeah. It has a theme, separation. What could possibly happen in separation? Well, the source of love can feel it's unloved, whatever, all this stuff. So it's just riffing on an idea, and then it breaks down into more and more riffing and more and more riffing and more and more riffing. But the assumption isn't true, what it's based on. And we try not to have any opinions about outside events here, because it just works better, to tell you the truth. So my feeling truly is, yeah, whatever you move to do or not do, yeah, but let's not take ourselves so seriously. Yeah, and the most serious we can take a self is being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity in a world based on a lot of long-lasting, independent, separate entities, yes? And that what happens in time is obviously the most fucking important thing when timelessness is all there is, so to speak, yes? So I feel this is an activity called dreaming going on. And in a weird way, if it's defined by duality, like my old Tai Chi teacher, I used to call him up and bitch about I was feeling shitty for a few weeks, and he'd say, congratulations. And I'd go, why? He says, well, you're going to feel good soon. And then when I called him and I'm saying, I'm on a great run, I've been feeling great, he said, well, I'm sorry. It's going to fucking get bad soon, whatever, because of duality in a weird way, yeah? So maybe... like they say, why do they say the darkest hour is right before the dawn? That's a perfect dualistic fucking expression, yes? So in duality, which is the dreaming, and the higher power, let's say, or that which we are is in the act of dreaming itself out of the dreaming, yes? Maybe at this point, it's creating a lot of dark hours because it's going to be a shift to a nice dawn, yeah? Who knows? Yeah, but usually when the shit really hits the fan, there's other possibilities that are available. Yeah? Yeah. No. But hey, maybe you're not going to be used on a big theater, but you're going to definitely be used in your little amphitheater. Yes? And just know that you're directed, and know that all is well, and you'll be put to use, and maybe you'll have the joy of seeing that, yeah? Maybe you'll have the joy of what overrides all the circumstances and situations. Yes, really. Yeah. And all this is a lot of huffing and puffing, and in fact, it can never make anything that comes to pass. This is not a real event, yeah? You are real, that's for sure. Yeah. So, yes, that's that. Sonny,
Now that the
Hey, thanks,
darkest
Paul.
hour
Can you
has
hear me?
passed.
thank you. What?
Can you hear me
Now
all
that the
right?
darkest, oh, sorry.
What, Mike? What did you say?
I just said, now that the darkest hour has passed, Sunny is up.
Yeah, so
Okay.
this is what we're gonna get. Jesus Christ, I was expecting
Thank
something
you.
more subtle.
Thank you for teeing this sunny guy up. Watch him screw up. So
I
just,
agree.
I like the divine choreography. I don't remember hearing it before. And related to that, can you, I think you've talked about it before, but can you talk a little bit more about negating versus denying? And then perhaps we can negate that So like in a divine choreography, is it, if I understand correctly, is it that we might be the so-called the action figures might be actors? There's certain roles that are assigned as a part of the divine play, so to speak.
Yeah.
We have to negate that it's taken personally. There's no personal actors, that things are happening personally, because Sunny gets assigned the janitor role, and Sunny's like pissed off. I don't want to be janitor in this life, right? So is that the denying? So the negating part is that don't take it personally, but don't deny that this is happening as a divine choreography and engage in it, but don't take it personally. Is that sort of the rift?
Well, see, denial is usually you're trying to deny something that seems real to you. You're trying to make something that really seems real unreal. Most addicts and alcoholics are very accustomed to denial. Yeah? Negation is seeing something as unreal. Yes? Not trying to make something that's seen as real can be unreal. That would be denial. But negation is seeing the nature of it as unreal. It's quite different feeling. The denial is a mental product. Yeah. So the mental state is trying to deny what it really takes to be real and make it unreal. And it leads to avoidance and fucking rationalize all this shit. Yes? And negating it is just seeing it in its true, seeing the true alignment. Yeah, that's all. It's a completely different feeling. Yeah. And what it brings about is completely different. What denial brings about is it furthers a more myopic view, because now it's usually it springs a lot of avoidance and distracting and rationalizing and shit like that. Yeah, where negating is very, very clean. Yeah, it's like a movement of a knife with nothing to cut. Yeah, it's a swoosh. Yeah, yeah. And then what else were you saying about the action figure?
Divine choreography. It seems like it's more sort of life affirming versus in some non-dual message they're seeing like this shit, nothing exists. It's your whole imagination. If my daughter starts crying because she hurt her foot and I'm non-dualist fundamentalist, I say there's no foot, there's no you, and I can become a jerk, right? Versus
Yes.
seeing that as a part of the divine choreography, so to speak, and I just bring some whatever needs to be done at that moment, and not take it personally. Is that sort of the divine choreography thing? It's just a sad part of the society.
Well, the thing is,
And maybe a better movie tomorrow.
or just see, no, Sonny though, see, that which feels it's a person is going to have a very hard time not taking shit personally. Yes? You see you're not the one that's taking shit personally. When you try to neuter this experience here, which is based on bias, prejudice, comparing, that doesn't work. You see that you're not that. Yeah? That's taking it personally. The idea of you're not you as what you're not taking shit personally is fucking ridiculous. That's the whole programming. The whole basis of the action figure is to take shit personally. It's like trying to, teach a cat to become a herd animal. It's not going to work. You just see you're not that. Yes? That's taking things personally. That's the beauty of it. Yeah? You don't have to change anything. You just see you're not that which is taking it that way. Yeah?
Right. Thank you.
It's beautiful. See, because if not, then it becomes a subtle doing. Yeah? So now you as Sonny has to not take things personally. How does that go? It doesn't go well. Then you just act like a fucking nuded ice cube. Don't you? That's why a little kid just gives you a Zen bitch slap, because that's bullshit, Dad. Yeah. It's like the head trying to use non-duality as an advantage. Yeah? It can't mimic it well. Watch it try to mimic non-duality. It's seen through so fast. Maybe not by you, but by others, for sure. They've done some animated videos of someone like that. Oh, there is no person. No, it's like fundamentalism isn't just in Islam and Christianity. It's in non-duality as a fucking religion, for sure. There's extreme fundamentalism in there. You can't say the word I, me, or any personal pronoun.
Yeah,
I
I've
don't
been
know.
in non-dual conversations where they're counting how many times the word I was used and say, 9 times you used it, man, in just like 4 sentences.
Yeah,
The conversation goes nowhere.
that's like non-duality kindergarten. Hopefully, you're gonna grow out of that. Yeah, yeah. This isn't a denial of this world. It's seeing it more as a verb, a verbing, yeah, or a manifesting. So you get a feeling that everything's happening, but nothing ever happened, yeah? Nothing ever really came to pass. It's just passing, 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 passing. There's no break. There's no interruption. It's just going on and on and on, yeah?
Hmm.
That's a different feeling than see, I'll give you a personal experience. When I was younger, I used to lead workshops in AA, recovery, about this. And then one of them was on the 4th step, which was an inventory process where you do an inventory on the manifestations of self in one's life. Yeah. Hopefully, with the understanding self isn't you. So, somebody who I used to know got in touch with me, and they were involved with a cult in the Course in Miracles. Yeah. And they wanted to see if I would set something up in San Francisco for them to come and talk. So I did. And so we had a friend's house, and we had to have it for Saturday and Sunday. You know, a couple hours Saturday, a couple of hours Sunday. So Saturday, they come, and most of the people that were there I knew, and they started from there is no world. Yeah. They went right to the extreme. There is no world. Da 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 da. Then there was a break, and almost no one came back, right? And a lot of these people I never saw again, who I knew. And I learned something there. Yeah, I learned you can't go to the absolute from the twoness. Yeah, you gotta start with, yeah, you gotta negate one, yeah, out of the seeming two, and then you negate the other one, and then there you go. But you can't, with the twoness as the basis, you can't go, there is no world. It doesn't work. It gets lost. Yeah?
Right.
Yes? So this is the thing. So like Jesus didn't say there is no world. Jesus said, seemingly in the statement, you're in this world, so let's go over what it looks like to be in this world, because he follows it with, you're not of this world. Yeah? That to me that's a clear way of inviting, you know? Yeah? So you explain the inness, yeah, and then you bring, and you, that seems completely in, you're not of it, yeah? So now, instead of thinking you're the one, you're the of as sunny that has to become less personal, you see the sunny as the in, yeah? No matter how sunny appears, it's the in, and you're not of that. See, that's clear to me, yeah? Because if not, then it becomes another chore or order that Sunny has to do. Sunny has to become take things less personally, yeah? Sunny has to be whatever. Don't use the word I or me. Sunny, 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 sunny. Yes? So, let's talk about what we're not. We're not saying anything about the absolute. We're talking about what we're not with the hope that we'll recognize all of what we take ourselves to be really can be thrown into the category of what we're not. Yeah? And then there's a finding out of what you are without the costume of Sunny draped all over it. Yes? Yeah? Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's do a little more and then we'll end, eh?
No other hands right now. Anybody want to raise their hand?
Well, let me say hello to everybody then. There's Amelia. She seems so far away, but she's very close. There's Alan. There's Yariv. Nice to see you, bro. Jack G. Yeah, you're coming out of the dark, Jack. Don't worry. Jeff, nice to see you. Comfortable as ever. Yeah. I hope you're surfing for me. Yeah, good, good. There's a little swell, I think, eh? Yeah, yeah, I saw it today up here. Sonny, you know, you're more, there's one of you is more than enough, Sonny. Don't get it any more. Kerry Klein, nice to see you, Kerry. Nice t shirt. Dennis, nice to see you. Deepak, I appreciate your presence, Deepak. We got Judith, yes. Judith is verbing so much, she looks like a noun. It's pretty good. Fritz, Kaiser, Carl, my main man, Carl. Nice to see you, Carl. Mary, you're taking it better tonight, Mary, eh?
Great.
Yeah,
Thanks, Paul.
yes. You're surrendering. Yeah. There's Mike and Nick. There's Johans. Nice to see you, Johans. Patricia, a pleasure. Keep healing. Yeah. Oh, I say hello to Fritz. Fritz is always so profoundly here. I bypass him. Fritz, we appreciate it. All right, let me go to. Let me see. We got Kate. Kate P. I hope you had a nice dinner. I saw you eating there. It was good. Out of a bowl, pretty good. Great. We got Zlatko, Rob, Keith, Brahmi. Brahmi is she's